Okay, friends, today's story. One more story with Rabbi Peretz, Chaim, Chassid of the Chassidic, and even starting with the Alter Rebbe. So this Rabbi Peretz Chaim, I mentioned this Meir Simcha, and then the third generation was a Mendel. He was the one who was killed by the communists. This is his Zayd that we're talking about. There's Rabbi David Tzvi, I don't know, there's 4 generations, all of them Gedolei Chassidim. Peretz David Tzvi, and then Rabbi Mendel. So this Rabbi Peretz, so he was a Chassid of the Mittel Rebbe, and later the Chassidic, and he was a Malamed. He taught Chassidus in Neville, famous Chassidic town. At a certain time, the Rebbe told him that he should take Rabbanus and be a Rav in Beshinkovich. The Peretz, listen to the story. The Peretz refused and says to the Rebbe, "Ich fahr nicht. I'm not going." And he said, because in the city, there is the Rav, there's a Rav in the city, and he's a big misnagid, and it's going to be very opposed to Chassidus, and it'll be very difficult. How will he be able to do what he has to do? So the Rebbe said, "Alai val tzavari, I take it on my neck, on me, literally on me and on my neck." Then the Peretz said he's going. So the person who tells the story looks like he's Nickel. Says that the Peretz, that's why he refused. He said, "I'm not going," because he wanted to elicit. Chas v'shalom, he wasn't not going to listen, but he wanted to elicit from the Mittler Rebbe, the bracha that I take it upon me. So the Peretz went to Beshinkovich, became the Rav, primarily by the Chassidim, and this was like the thorn in the eyes of the Misnagdim that they saw in the Chassidic Rav, this new Rav, a very unwelcome person, and they made life difficult for him. What was done? Mainly by complicated questions that they used to bring to him constantly. And here's a story of one. Once, for example, a chicken was brought to him, the shaila of its kashrus. Now the Rav had already paskin, the Misnagdish Rav had paskin, that it's treif. The Peretz looks at the chicken, and he paskin it's kosher. It was a whole uproar. All the big lamdonim, the scholars amongst the Misnagdim, came to the house of the Peretz. How could you say? How could you the chutzpah to go against the Rav? Our Rav paskin that it's treif. The Peretz says, "I'm sorry." He says, "But me it comes out that in this case it's kosher." So they said, "Show us where. Show inside where that will justify your psak din." The Peretz is looking and looking. He can't find the market. So now he's really in hot water, and he's starting to lahaken. It means to antagonize him, and they tell him, "Our Rav has clear rayas, proofs for his ruling, and you have no proof, and you have the chutzpah to paskin that it's kosher, and you can't even justify your ruling." The Peretz is sitting there, and they're making these demands. It's lahatzik, like what's the lahatzik thing? What's the word? No, they are pressing him, yeah, and they're demanding, "Where's the source?" So he went like this. There was the Svarim Shank, the Svarim bookshelf was there. And he goes like this, points to the bookshelf. So he just was pointing, meaning to say the source is in Torah. It's in the Svarim. But one of the people thought he meant it's a particular sefer. Say where do you point? He went to the bookshelf, and he takes his sefer. And that's what he means. He brings the sefer back, puts it on the table. The Peretz opens it. The shaila is addressed. This very question is addressed, and the answer is, the conclusion after a lengthy discussion, by this was an achron, is like Rabbi Peretz said. And so they were all of the complaints were neutralized. The parrot said afterwards, now I see the bracha of the Rebbe. When the Rebbe said he's taking it upon himself, Alay Val Tzavori, here is the manifestation of that bracha. Only a big Talmud Chacham and Chassid like the parents can pass in this way. Look at it and then rely on his instinct and his learning. But then at the end of the day, his instinct that he's mechaven to the halacha that requires bittul. Just to conclude, the Gemara says about Beis Shammai and Hillel that the Gemara says a very good thing that Beis Shammai was sharper than Hillel, but the halacha was paskened like Beis Hillel because they were humble. They used to allow Shammai to say their opinion first, and they're more agreeable, and therefore the halacha was ruled in the favor of Hillel. So Chassidus asks, that's a reason to rule in the favor of Hillel. Who has the best argument is the one that wins. Shammai was chaditfei, was sharper. So they were nice people and nice. So Chassidus answers, because at the end of the day, in Seichel, there's this view, there's that view. So what's the right one? If there's humility and bittul, then one can be mechaven to the kavon el yoyin. Not with Seichel alone. You have to with Seichel. But Seichel is always another position. That's why Chassidim always, what's the wish of Chassid by the Fabrengen? We should end up doing the right thing. He needs a special bracha because there's always maybe yes, maybe not, this way, that way. We should mechav l'kavon al yoina. That's bittul. So he's asking for the bracha that Hashem guide him. That therein lies the bittul, is in his desire for the bracha. I'm not relying on me. Heaven should guide me that I should do the right thing. So Chassid, like a Peretz, because of his bittul, you see, he was mechaven in the end to the proper halacha, even though he couldn't himself find the source of it. But Hashgacha Pratis, he was discovered. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and see you Be'ez Hashem tomorrow.